Just going to go ahead and read everything that is like going on in this particular case because it's a little crazy. And I'm trying to pull my stuff up here. Where is it? So Katie Proudfoot ended up writing back or responding to Seth Rogers' statements on Justin on TikTok. So during an interview, a live stream broadcast with Justin on TikTok, Seth Rogers indicated an incident that happened to Sebastian Rogers when he was young. Hey, rapper. You think Seth is guilty? Good Lord. I hope you have a wonderful Friday, TGIF. Anyways, so she ended up responding back, and I don't think, I mean, it's not really a well-taken response, I think, but from many. Hey, guys, it's nice to see you. Hey. The Shayla? Emmy? I can't hardly read. Oh, Hindsight, you're in here. It's nice to see you, love. Ronnie, Teresa, Justice Jane. Hey, guys. Must be getting some notifications. I'll wait for you guys to get in and we'll start all over again. Oh, Crime Stories Obsessed is in the house. K.I., Tracy, it's nice to see everyone. Chicky, hey guys. Rapper needs some attention. Leave Rapper be. I don't know if it's he or she, so we're going to show some love. It's Friday. It's Friday. The world's crappy enough. So guys, the Sebastian Rogers case, I know everybody's been talking about. It's nice to see you guys. Everybody's been talking about the response that Katie responded with. First of all, I want to ask everybody, how many people are familiar with this case? If you are, just raise your hand. Don't put a 1 or 2, just raise your hand. If you guys are familiar with, well, it doesn't really matter. I'll just tell you. So Sebastian Rogers is obviously is missing because he's on our show, right? He's either missing or something bad happened. And he's an autistic boy that left home, allegedly walked out his front door, according to his mother, in the middle of the night between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. And he was not in his bed whenever she woke up. She got up, she called her husband, which is his stepfather, Chris Proudfoot. Within a few minutes of them realizing he wasn't in the house, they immediately called 911. The story progresses from there to, you know, we won't even get into the day before and all the changes with that, but just that morning, we'll go with the changes of that. So then we find out Katie didn't just call the cops. She ended up going around the neighborhood, going to the school, and then finally the call came in, not immediately, but at 6:33. Everything happened, and it was Chris that ended up calling Seth to report Sebastian missing. Katie's mad that Seth talks about an SA allegation or incident that he had. And I just want to remind everybody, for the record, the only way I knew that they put him in diapers was because of her and Chris. So I don't know, you know, I'm not sure how helpful that was to find your son either. But you know what? And it didn't explain a whole heck of a lot either, did it? But, you know, an SA allegation like Christopher Proudfoot not liking your son, looking at him like a monster, that seems pretty relevant in a situation like this, as opposed to him having to use a diaper to go to before he goes to bed. You know, I don't know how that was helping find your son, but, you know, I digress. So I just did a video on it, and I was really upset. I got to be honest with you. This message that she wrote, I'm going to read it for you for the ones that didn't get the notification for the video or whatever, what this actually says. So everybody knows, and just in case you don't have to worry. I'm reading it here. It said, that child was not 13, and we did not allow my son to be abused. We contacted all authorities. My son received all the available help he could get. Multiple therapists involved. His doctor did know because he went there. He went to the doctor and got checked immediately. Seth was involved in his therapy as well. There are so many lies in this story, including him failing to mention where Seth got banned from the base for his violent tendencies, where at the time my son was seeing a psychiatrist and psychologist to help him with his trauma from Seth's abuse and trauma from being assaulted by this child. Let me be clear. I think it's sickening that this man is airing my son's trauma online. My son deserves better than that. When we find him, and I believe in my heart we will, the truth will come out. He's doing his best to slander us as parents, but my son is loved and cared for and always will be. Public opinion based on lies, assumptions, half-truths, and is rampant because of things like this, which has nothing to do with finding Sebastian. I will not stoop so low as to partake in the back and forth argument with him. God knows the truth, and the truth always comes out. Please stop the madness and focus on finding Sebastian, because that's the most important thing. I think my short message to Katie Proudfoot is please take your own advice. I mean, I don't know how to clearer to say that, because out of everybody that has put Sebastian first, has been searching to find answers for Sebastian, they're not on the top of that list. I would say Seth is on the top of that list. Below Seth on the top of that list is his dedicated volunteers that are out there, boots on the ground. And below that is the internet army. And below that is mainstream media. Actually, I think mainstream media is even further down than that. I don't know. Let me stop. Let's see what we got here. Was there an arrest for Seth's behavior? I don't think so. It was really weird, ICU. I don't know. It just says, and it's not even clear. It says for his violent tendencies. Like, what does that mean? Did he find out something and raise his voice and get kicked off? I think every parent under the sun dealing with a situation of SA type allegations or something like that has raised their voice and been kicked out of somewhere. That's part of my job. I should stop. That's part of my job, really, right? If there's something, I've been kicked out of meetings. I mean, you do that. So is that what happened? What are violent tendencies? What did she mean by that? Like, why is it? And it kind of brings me to another point. Why is there stuff so cryptic? Why is Seth, when Seth talks to you, there's no question, ICU. We don't need to question whether somebody's was arrested or something, because Seth kind of explains everything, right? It's a thorough explanation. I don't know. I don't even know what violent tendencies mean to her. Violent tendencies could literally mean a number of things to a number of people. I don't know. Let me be clear. Say that, Chris, saying of all this. Yeah. Seth is doing another interview at 9 tonight with a response. Oh, good. I really like Seth. I do. But you know what? I like any parent. When I see a parent get up and fight for their kid, I just grab it, because you can't help. You know that whatever they're going through, like I don't understand, the pain. I mean, I know that it has to be painful. I feel pain for them, right? But I don't feel their pain because I don't understand their pain. I don't know their pain. And even if two people were in the same position, both of their pains would be different. So but when I see parents coming out and fighting, it's like one of these things where we just want to give them as much support as we can possibly give them, just be their barrier when they need it, be their, their pawns when needed, just be there, if somebody's attacking them, you go and take some of the brunt. You see what I'm saying? Like you just try to insulate them and protect them. And it's like on the ground, the people are like that. I guarantee if anybody came up and was disrespectful, his volunteers would turn around and probably say something to him, right? It wouldn't have to be Seth that had to say something. And that's kind of where it is. We're all sitting here behind Seth because we're seeing Seth really do groundwork, really trying. We're seeing his emotion. We're watching him. We're going through this entire process with Seth, and it's really hard for all of us to watch, but we're going through it and we're helping out as much as we can. We're giving him everything that we've got to give. And meanwhile, the two people that last saw Sebastian healthy and alive are sitting on their ever-loving butt, complaining about everything and doing absolutely nothing to help or change the outcome or the circumstances. I don't get it. When she filed for divorce, she also claimed Seth abused Sebastian. Like, why wait to report it? Exactly. Why wait? But you know what? She seems like one of those people that obviously shovel things right up under the rug, doesn't she? I mean, isn't that kind of what she did in this situation, especially with a Chris spanking her son, knowing that they have all sat down and talked to it as a family and have discussed no corporal punishment. It's not good for him because of his disability. The one thing she was right about in the whole statement was that God knows. Yeah, Gigi, you're right. She needs to take her own advice and go find Sebastian, June girl. Yep. She must be mistaken for her own husband. He seems like he's the only one that has a violent background. Yep. She wouldn't have. And you know what's funny? You know what, Christy? I'm reading your comment, and you're right about that. But now it's like, you know, the only time we're hearing anything bad or abusive on Seth's side is after the fact. We never heard those things before the fact. And we had an inkling that something wasn't right with Chris way early. And it's like Nina Gomez's testimony, you know, her experience resonated with a lot of us, but it was like we knew, but I don't think we knew to that caliber, like to that level, like how bad it really was. But yeah, he's the only one that appears to have a violent background. But now that his violent background's exposed, now Seth's got to have one too, don't you know? Teresa says Seth has shown great restraint in not dishing on Kate because he's been asked repeatedly. He's fed up with her and CP's. Yes. And that's what he's not wanting. I when he says, I don't want to trash them, I truly believe he doesn't want to trash them. But in the same sense, he's wanting to get information out, and it's not going to look good for them. He's not trying to trash them, but the truth is the truth. You know, if that makes them look bad, you know, we all have to kind of eat just desserts. And nobody's you guys know me. Nobody's perfect. I don't think perfection. I don't expect people to be flawless. I know that everybody's got their skeletons in their closet. I know that everybody has their history, their past, you know. The only thing that I ever expect from anybody is just better, you know, better than yesterday, right? Even if it's just a little better, that's progress. It's progress, not perfection. I don't believe in perfection. I never have, never will. I don't believe it exists. No criminal justice degree. I've got an AA and paralegal studies degree. I hope that answered your question. Hello, just joined in. Oh, hey, Bonnie. It's nice to see you, love. I cannot believe her response. She needs to be out searching for Sebastian. Oh, but she does say, I mean, she does say that. She does say that. She seems to know that she should be out searching. She seems to know that Sebastian is the most important. She seems to know that Sebastian needs to be found. But she just doesn't seem to want to participate or help in it. I don't quite get it either. It's a little confusing. It's very confusing for me. I can understand why my audience is confused, because I'm just sitting here just as confused thinking, man, she wants everybody out there helping for her son, but she's not willing to even get up off her ass. And she ran away from home. And she wants to sell the only home her son knew. Well, shit. This kind of sucks. I really do wish Katie would take her own advice. I think she needs to quit being in denial and start coming into reality and start having, you know, some come to Jesus conversations with herself, because she's not acting right. She's just not acting right. And that's what I said in my last video, is that, what did I say? Good Lord, I can't remember. Let's just watch it. It wasn't that long. It was 9. I think it was like 9 minutes. Where am I on here? Hold on. There we go. Oh, we'll just watch it real quick. Why not? We got nothing better to do. It's Friday. TGIF, everybody. Why isn't everybody having a party? Why don't I see like balloons and stuff popping off in the chat? It's Friday, folks. Are you guys not happy it's Friday? What is up with you? What is up with you? Let's see what we got here. Here we go. That's right. It has the same thumbnail, just a different color, because I'm I'm lazy. Don't tell anybody. There we go. Can you guys see it?
My son got bit in the face by a dog and had to have 7 stitches in his face. And he still isn't scared of dogs. I mean, he's not scared of anything. Except for, I guess, his stepfather.
Sebastian Rogers is a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee on February 26th in the early morning hours, around 6 o'clock in the morning. So how does it make me feel when I read this post from Katie Proudfoot about the SA allegations and the rest of her statement? One is that it seems to me she's lashing out at Seth for coming forward and telling the truth. So here is Katie Proudfoot's response to Seth Rogers' allegations related to Sebastian's essay.
I think it's clearer or worse.
15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared on February 26th in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and has never been heard or seen since. His mom and stepfather have come under heavy scrutiny because the last known place was their home, and the information and story around his disappearance and what led up to his disappearance are skewed and have been modified several times. And it causes great concern for my audience as well as me and a lot of other people. Her response is, that child was not 13 and we did not allow my son to be abused. We contacted all authorities. My son received all the available help he could get, multiple therapists involved. His doctor did know because he went to the doctor and got checked immediately. Seth was involved in his therapy as well. There's so many lies in this story, including him failing to mention that where Seth got banned from the base for his violent tendencies, where at the time my son was seeing a psychiatrist and psychologist to help him with his trauma from Seth's abuse and the trauma from being assaulted by this child. Let me be clear, I think this is sickening that this man is airing my son's trauma online. My son deserves better than that. When we find him, and I believe in my heart we will, the truth will come out. He is doing his best to slander us as parents, but my son is loved and cared for and always will be. Public opinion based on lies, assumptions, half-truths is rampant because of things like this, which has nothing to do with finding Sebastian. I will not stoop as low as to partake in a back and forth argument with him. God knows the truth, and the truth always comes out. Please stop the madness and focus on finding Sebastian, because that's the most important thing. Finding Sebastian. And while I do agree with Katie Proudfoot, I don't agree with a lot of her stuff, a lot of her actions. I don't really agree with her as a person or a mother. But I do agree with this one statement. Sebastian is the most important thing. And we need to be focusing on Sebastian. And we need help find Sebastian. And it seems like his father's helping, trying to find Sebastian. People like me are helping try to find Sebastian. We've got volunteers that are going out by the graciousness of their heart to help find Sebastian. Sebastian's first and foremost to all of us. But what we see from Chris and Katie Proudfoot is that they like to pack up and run off and not lift a finger to help find Sebastian. So when I read this, it makes my blood boil as well, but not toward Seth, toward Katie Proudfoot. It seems to me that now all of a sudden Seth is no longer a good parent and abusive. Now, we already knew because, again, Christopher Proudfoot let the world know that he is the one that hit Sebastian and that he had the Child Protective Services called on him. So far to date, I haven't heard where Child Protective Services were called on Seth or anything coming out of it. Now, I don't know whether that happened or not, but Katie's trying to imply that he is a violent man. I would say that I would be concerned with him, like say if my child disappeared and I may be responsible. Just a thought. And then it was so disheartening to hear her tell how she thought it was sickening for this man to air her son's laundry to the public, yet she's not even out looking for her son that she says she cares so much about. I don't know what to say about it. I don't know how this makes me feel. Well, I do. It makes me feel angry. It upsets me. It upsets me that she is so delusional she can't even see what the rest of us are seeing. I don't know how to get her and her husband off their butts and out there searching for him. But they are so worried about their image. They are so worried about what people think of them. They are so worried about people being mean to them or looking down upon them that they run away. They're so worried about how the world previews or views them. So much so, they don't even care what is going to happen to their son, what has happened to their son, or where their son is. They would rather have their family follow Seth around to see what he and his volunteers are doing, as opposed to standing next to him and just helping. They're the ones doing all of this, and I just don't know why. I can't put it past me, but we have to look at the facts. Everybody always wants to look at the facts. The bottom line is he didn't have friends. He wasn't on the internet. Those threats are eliminated. So the only people that would have had access to him, means, motive, and opportunity, would be his family. The only people that could coax him out of the house would be somebody familiar to him, such as family. He didn't leave with any shoes or socks on his feet, even though he doesn't go outside barefoot. Chris Proudfoot had a lot of scratches up and down both of his arms shortly after Sebastian disappeared. And while, none of us are there, we can't say, hey, Chris did this or Katie did that. What we can do is look at their behaviors and apply a reasonable standard to it and say, is this how reasonable people would act? And the answer is no. And we can't keep looking past that. And when I read this from Katie Proudfoot, it pisses me off. She has no thought process into a statement like this, or how it makes the rest of the world feel when we're the ones out here looking for her son. We're the ones out here tearing up these internet streets from daylight to dark, trying to find any information, any leads to his whereabouts, while they sit on their ass and complain about their frickin' image. It pisses me off. His mother, Katie Proudfoot, told law enforcement agencies that when she put him to bed at 9 p.m., there was no issues. When she woke up at 6 a.m., he was gone. She called her husband. They looked around the house. She could not find him. Her husband and her immediately three-wayed law enforcement. He came home. They notified the biological father, Seth Rogers, and the rest is history. Since this case has begun, we've watched absolute madness in this case, and people always like to blame social media, but in this case it wasn't. It was a horrible nonprofit organization that stopped searches for days. They were known as the United Cajun Navy. They stole another nonprofit's history for profit and did absolutely nothing but be absolutely disrespectful to everybody in the community. The community itself kicked them out. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Bullhorn Betty channel. If you'd like to help even further, consider becoming a monthly member. God bless.
There you have it, folks.
So if you have no clue on how I feel, that is exactly my sentiments on all of this, on everything, on their behavior, on, why I feel the way I feel, even lacking of information. It just doesn't make sense. Their behavior doesn't make sense. It hasn't made sense since the beginning. I think we all really thought this boy walked out that door, and we just really wanted to help. But we knew early on, because the ground searchers were talking to the media, the mainstream media, and they were saying that there was no scent, that they've never seen anything like this. They've never got out there and had a situation where the dogs didn't pick up anything. They said they've never encountered that. And that's when I think that the regular, you know, people started looking into that and thinking, these are searchers that have done this for many, many years. I think this guy said he had 20 or 30 years of experience. I mean, it was something ridiculous and no scent. He had never seen or experienced something like that. So I think that's when everybody started kind of looking in and saying, there might be something more, but I don't think anybody was ready to make that leap. It was too early on. And so we were really eager to hear from the parents. And about 8 days after this boy disappeared was the first interview that Chris and Katie had. And that just set the internet on this firestorm. I mean, there was just people coming out of the woodworks that just started attacking Chris Proudfoot. There was just something about Chris, his mannerism. People just looked at him and just started saying, look at the stepfather, look at the stepfather. I mean, everything was stepfather, stepfather, stepfather. It wasn't even Katie at that point. It was just the stepfather. And then it went from the stepfather to both of them. And now we're in a situation that we're in, and now we've got them, which the reason why we're in the situation we're in is because they didn't really do anything to change anybody's mind when it started going south. They started, you know, getting nervous, and they started doing things like, when you have a missing child, the last thing that I think, because when I've been in stressful situations and I've had to act, the last thing I'm worried about is what somebody thinks of me. I mean, my image, my reputation, you know, I mean, it's the furthest thing. I mean, even doing what I do here on social media, you know, image and stuff like that really is the furthest thing from my mind, you know. It's the victim. It's doing whatever it takes for the cause or the victim, you know, depending on what hat I'm wearing that day, whether it's political or true crime. But, you know, you can't, and I've never seen any innocent parent give a damn about what people think. Most parents, what they end up doing is assigning somebody to take over looking at the social media so they can maintain their search efforts, getting out there and dealing with people and knocking doors and asking questions and seeing what people know. I would think as a mother, any mother, just your child didn't come home on time after a school event. You know, you're kind of calling the friends, you're knocking on the door saying, hey, you know, where's my daughter? Oh, she's in the back room still playing. She must have her phone turned off, you know. Where is Katie in all of this and knocking doors and really trying to do shoe leather work on trying to find out if anybody saw her son? If we remember going back to Riley Strain's case and his mother, she was walking up and down that strip going to every single shop owner she could find and stopping them and having them immediately look at their footage to see if they saw her son. You see, and that's a mama bear. That is what that is to me, an instinctual action. It's not something that needs to be thought or planned. You got a missing cub, you jump into action, you do whatever it takes to get answers, to find answers. You've got war rooms, you got friends over, you're looking at maps, you're you know, communicating with others saying, hey, you know, this might be a prime area. We think he could get to this area by this amount of time. You have all these actions that you see each and every parent doing in a situation like that that's presented with something like this. But when you have, in this particular case, 2 military trained people that would know better how to do something like this, totally taking a back seat, sitting down, and then when people start saying, hey, dude, why aren't you out here helping? They pack up and leave town. Not once, but twice. That's not sus. Man, we shouldn't even look at them. How dare us? How dare us even consider that they had anything with their stellar reputation and all? How dare us? Dog, don't lie. They didn't pick up his scent. Yeah. And they're trying to justify it now because I think they need to tamper down the stuff because they still need them talking. They still need them being cooperative. And as time is clicking on and as each day passes by, I guarantee you Chris Proudfoot's getting more nervous and more nervous. And he's going to start taking that advice and shutting the hell up. Their window of opportunity to get information from Katie and Chris is closing, if it hasn't closed already. Could he actually be in the house, under the house, attic? You know, Laura, no, I don't. And here's why. Even though they didn't do forensic testing, they did do a surface search. And I would have to think in the surface search, under the house, the attic, all that would have been covered. And they probably most likely would have used, may have used some type of dog in the home, but I'm not sure because of the other dogs. I don't know how all that works inside homes and dogs inside homes or looking for evidence inside homes other than like drug dogs. So I'm kind of ignorant on that, but I think that they have, if I'm not mistaken, TBI did put out a statement that they have searched all their entire property and any kind of, like, I guess they have like an outbuilding or something like that on there or something to that effect. So yeah, I'd have to think that all of those things were done under that surface search. The only search that my understanding is that deep forensic search has never been done on the property, and that's the one that needs to be done. This is reaching, but what if the kid that essayed him came for him? He'd be grown. Well, I don't think it's not if Seth's story's true. I think the mom's statement corroborated the statement as true. I think the issues are Seth is calling the boy 13, and she, even though she didn't state an age, you know, like if you're going to make a corrective statement like, and the boy wasn't 13, you would think that you would put the actual age in there, like the boy wasn't 13, he was 11. But, you know, it doesn't make a difference how old the boy was. I mean, it doesn't matter if the boy was 6 years old. It matters about the trauma. You know, it doesn't matter. Like, she's focusing on an age, and Seth is focusing on the trauma itself. This lady, I can't with her. This has a flavor of Gannon's stout. You know, it's kind of funny that you say that because you're not the first one that said that. I've been, you know, I don't really go in a lot of chat rooms. I'm trying to get better and get more, because when I first started out, I did that. And then with everything going on, it was just I just needed to kind of take a step back a little bit. And so now that this case has kind of come up and I'm really diving in and doing really deep investigative work on it, I am seeing that. I am seeing kind of this Gannon stout type of stuff to it, you know, because the father didn't know. You know, I feel like Katie, in a sense, I feel like Katie didn't know, but she knew how Chris was. That's why I'm so angry with her. That's why I said no matter whether she's guilty of knowledge or not, she's guilty of knowing how badly Chris treated Sebastian, and she stood idly by her man at the expense of her son. And I just have no respect for that. I don't think any of the women in my chat have respect for that. I think I don't know of any woman, you know, whether on here or not. I'd have to think that all women, whether we personally like each other or not, have to agree with that statement. I'm fairly new here, but I love Betty. Oh, thank you, Teresa. I appreciate it. I see a lot myself in her. She definitely has more tact than I do. Don't give me too much credit, babe. You haven't seen me on a roll yet. Like you said, you're new to the channel. You're going to have to take the sweet with the salt. That's all I got to say. Your statement is very... my very thoughts about this case. Yeah, I'm just, it's one of those things. People think that, you know, when we cover these cases, we don't care. I can tell you that there's a case has to resonate with me for me to pick it up. It's gotta make me curious. It's gotta make me want to help. If I don't have that in it, then I won't do good at it. And so, like, even this one, even though we can't get out here and search, I'm jammed up with the car. We see what time it is. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I was supposed to have my car back 2 weeks ago, and I'm still sitting here without a freaking car. I'm not a happy camper about it, but it is what it is. And it has prevented me from being able to, I needed to leave yesterday in order to get out there for the Saturday stuff. So there's just not, it's not going to be something doable. But I've got, once I get back from Illinois, I'm planning on doing a trip out there because, after all this stuff dies down, Sebastian still needs to be searched for. So once it clears out there, we'll go in, say probably after the 20th, maybe I'll probably start heading up there probably about the 21st. And then that'll give me an opportunity. I won't be so rushed. We'll be able to stay a whole entire week up there. We'll be able to really do some impactful searches, identify some areas that may not have been identified. They're staying kind of right in that area. There's some other places that are just gnawing at me that I really, really, really want to get out and look at just to see if they're viable. And maybe just take a half a day and just, search the area in a couple spots just to see. There's just some spots that I look at and I'm just like, they're just calling my name and I don't know why, but they are. So I just really, really, really want to get out there and look at those. But again, it's not in the area that they're at all. It's actually significantly over an hour away from where they're at right now. So Ash, the Alaska trip. Ash is talking about the Alaska trip and how she believes they took the boy to Alaska. I think that's improbable, unless they drove to where I don't think he would have went to Alaska. But I don't think his mom and his stepfather are capable of a situation like this. I've looked at them, even though the lady's batshit crazy. It takes a certain person to do certain things, and she and he just I don't see that they got that. I mean, they've got stuff in them, all right, but I don't think they have that in them. Does she have what it takes to cover her son's butt? Yeah. Does she is she going to deny the fact that she believes her son is involved, even though she thinks that there's a strong possibility? Yeah, I do believe so. But I don't believe that they would be. I mean, you got to think about, this is what I just want to put in perspective. I mean, you're talking about not just a child, but you're talking about carrying that deceased child in a vehicle across multiple state lines in that condition. That is some very, very, very risky behavior. And anybody with, I don't know anybody that's going to be willing to risk that. Desperation, yeah. Like I could see if you're desperate enough, the person doing that to do that, but having a third party do that for you, I don't know. I mean, I guess anything's possible, and truth is stranger than fiction. We all know that. But boy, that's some balls. That's risky. That's risky. But who knows? Who knows? Truth is stranger than fiction. What baffles me is the Proudfoots not rallying around when they learned of this. I know rallying at all. Even if Seth and them absolutely hated each other, didn't like. I don't understand how they could not come together for this. Especially, but this is not the situation, guys. What we hear in this situation is that they had a good working relationship between them. They were talking. I mean, we heard Chris Proudfoot say that he talks to Seth almost on a daily basis before this incident. So why all of a sudden would the Proudfoots cut off all communication with the father of a missing boy that went missing from their home and under their watch? It seems to me like if something like that happened to me, God, I pray to God it doesn't. But if something like that happened to me where I had a child in my care and that child disappeared, I would be out there doing whatever that anybody wanted. You know, I'd be jumping through as many damn hoops as possible just because I would want to know what happened. Just the simple curiosity of, oh my God, this child disappeared. What could possibly have happened with my son, with my friend, with the, you know, just the pure curiosity of, oh my God, my friend, my family is gone. And we went from that to sitting at home and running, and they have time, like they have the time to load a camper, to literally go through their house, pack up like clothes, pack up toiletry items, go in their kitchen, stock up their RV with food. Like they have all this time to think about all these actions they need to be doing to get the hell out of Dodge. But the last thing on their freaking mind is going out there and searching for their son. And her only concern is the fact that Seth talked about the essay allegations that Sebastian had to undergo and go through. And she's angry at that. Out of everything that's going on right now, that's got her panties in a wad. She has her priorities really, really messed up. And I'm seriously starting to question her mental health at this moment. Because I feel like this lady is just overboard delusional. She is completely detached from reality. I don't know what world she's living in. I really don't. Bower Sox are shady. Bower Sox are shady. We watched the Bower Sox. Like, when it comes, like, my mom's a mama bear, you know. There's been some time there's been times that mama bears come out, okay? So I know my beautiful, sweet, amazing, loving mother has a ferocious animal that lies waiting inside of her. I really wouldn't piss off Mama Bullhorn, okay? And I definitely wouldn't screw with one of her cubs. Or her grand cubs, you know. But I feel like moms just naturally have that in them. And for us to see Katie so detached from that instinct inside of her just really bothers me. And I don't know who else it bothers, but I feel like no matter what, you have this animalistic instinct in you when somebody is, you know, effing with your family, your children, your young children. I mean, we see people that just happen to see something and jump into action. And it has nothing to do, they don't even know the people. And we watch it, you can go on YouTube and look at it all day long, the great Samaritans that are out there in this world. And you've got a woman that has an autistic boy that has been missing for over a month, and this woman is not freaking the F out at this moment. She is not losing her shit at this moment. She's not shaking. She's not uncontrollable. She doesn't seem to have a worry in the world. The only worry she has is getting the hell out of Dodge and getting away from the people side-eyeing her. She doesn't care. All she wants to do is to be seen in the public's eye as a grieving mother. The problem is, she's not grieving. I had plenty of money, I would buy. I know, right? Well, it's a part. It's a stupid part. It's like, this whole economy just sucks. I don't know how to express it other than it sucks. Who waits for a car part for a flippin' month? Who? I have never in my freaking life. Ever. You go in, you spend a shit ton of money, you go out. That's the way car repairs are supposed to be. You're not supposed to go in, lose your car for a month, pay a shit ton of money, and then leave broke, and then not have a paycheck to go behind it because you've been without a car for a month. It's like a double whammy on this one. Katie, to me, she looks brainwashed. And you know what? That's another thing, you know, and I brought that up on this show multiple times. If you guys don't watch this, if you don't watch, you should probably start going back. I'll have to put them on a playlist so you guys can go back and watch everything that we've done for this case. But one of the things that I talked about was that because I was really angry with Katie, I was really angry with Chris about their behaviors and stuff like that. And I even stopped, and because this was the first time that they had left in the RV, and I'm like, if we do believe Chris is this person that could hurt Sebastian, we have to look at this like Katie just left with him. Like, I have all day long to be mad at Katie. You know what I'm saying? But I want somebody there to be mad at. So I have to refocus my energy and effort to make sure she's safe and okay. And I even said that on our live, like, we have all day to be mad at her, but we need to make sure that she's safe. And I have to be honest with you, GE girl, J-A-J-E, whatever. You know who I'm talking about. I have to say, that is a concern for me, that she's brainwashed. It's a concern for me that she's displaying some battered wife syndrome type of behaviors. Those that have walked through it can see it. But she's also, in my mind, well equipped to take care of herself, just like many of us that walk through it. So Katie has the personality of a rock. That's an understatement. Betty, if I won $1 million lottery, oh, we must be getting down to the part. Did I see Justice for All in here? It's nice to see you, Justin. I love you. I love you. I'm blushing. I'm blushing. If you guys know anything, I used to always say this. I don't say it as much anymore, but I am still absolutely, utterly jealous that Justin does better makeup than me. I'm going to have to get some tips from Justin, and I am embarrassed, absolutely, utterly embarrassed to say that. But I tell you what, when he is online, you guys have to admit, his skin is beautiful, okay? I'm jealous. I'm jealous. So that's really all I had, guys. I wanted to come here and just kind of talk to you guys and talk with you. And it's one of these things. I do like our lives. I like going over. I like having the stuff. And we do have a format that we do usually in the morning. But, I want to be a little more personal. I want to get back to the way we used to be. And I feel like we got so far away from that, where we just don't talk with each other anymore. And so I hope you guys are watching the videos. I hope you're getting a little more of my my personality in them. And I don't know. I've been enjoying them better. I like the work, and I like talking about the avocation aspect of it. Unfortunately, it kind of sucks that it's this case, because I'd like a case that has, that's a little better than this one, that has maybe a happier ending or a happier beginning, or at least, some silver lining that I can use to say something positive. But to have the mom and the stepfather, it's hard, it's hard. It's hard seeing Seth out there all by himself. It's hard knowing how he can be surrounded by all those people and all those volunteers and still feel absolutely by himself, hopeless and helpless, and feel like he can't even breathe. Like, I can't imagine that, but I definitely feel like that's probably how to describe what he's going through if I had to try to describe it in words, but I'm not living him. I just like to support him as much as possible. And if you guys are out in the area, I would love to be there. It's killing me that I'm not, but there's got to be somebody, navigating the ship and getting people out there. So that is the job the Lord has called me to do on this one, and we are going to do it very, very well. So we want everybody that's in the area to please go out. There's going to be a massive amount of content creators out there covering this case, and one of the reasons is we are trying to get as many bodies out there, to get flyers posted all over the community. Seth is telling us there's people out there trying to sabotage his work, tearing down the signs of this beautiful missing boy. And it just, to me, I know this is going to be awful, and I'm going to do it. I'll own it. I'll own the backlash and everything. But for whatever reason, I feel like it's the stinking Bauer socks. And I'm sorry for saying that if it's not. But that's just how I feel. And I feel they're out there sabotaging because they're the only ones following everybody around. Let's face it. And if that's what they're doing, then we need to have a huge fleet of people out there peppering those poles with missing person flyers. So many flyers, 10,000 flyers out there, that it's going to take them a freaking year to tear them all down. That's what we need out there. And so that's what the big push is. We need flyers up. We need to be talking to people. Talk and walk. Walk and talk. Ask people, did they see anything? Ask people if they recognize the boy. Ask them what they think happens. You never know. You never know. You might hear a name. You might have something you can turn into law enforcement. And that's what this is all about. We need to help. We're going to stay out of law enforcement's way. You see law enforcement out there, you turn and run the other way, right? But don't worry. I know people are trying to say, they're going to arrest you. Law enforcement does not work like that, okay? If they were going to arrest 1,000 people, they would be literally there for the next week filling out paperwork. It's unobtainable. It's unreasonable to think that that's what's going to happen. If you see yellow tape, stay the hell out of the area. Be courteous and respectful to all law enforcement. If you need help, you know how to get help. Use the buddy system, stick together, have a contingency plan. Make sure somebody's phone is charged and full at all times in case of an emergency. Bring latex gloves. Wear comfortable shoes, but wear protective shoes. If you can, wear long sleeves, long pants. You might want to put sunscreen on your face, your arms, your feet, or any other exposed body parts, including, don't be like me, my lips never stop peeling now because they're damaged so bad from sun, because I remember to put sunscreen everywhere else but on my lips. Okay, I'm lying. I never wear sunscreen, and that's probably why my lips are the way they are. So don't be wise, not smart, okay? I'm smart, not wise. So protect your lips. Put a hat on. Do those types of things. Bring out bug spray. You never know if the mosquitoes are just going to be attracted to you that day or not. Bring out some Band-Aids. If you have a little package of Band-Aids, throw it in your backpack. Make sure you have water. You need to stay hydrated while you're out there. Make sure you have a face towel unless you need to sit down, right? Because you don't want to sit on the ground. Or you need to wipe your face. I always have 2 to 5 face towels in my backpack at all times with at least 3 to 5 bottles of water. They don't need to be cold water when you're out there. It doesn't really matter. They stay in your backpack and get room temperature anyway, so don't even worry about grabbing the ones out of the cold refrigerator. Just grab them out of the package in the garage, stick them in your backpack. You'll be fine. And TD reminds us, diabetes, so bring your insulin or any medication with you just in case. There you go. Now you have all your disclaimers on what you need to have on you before you embark on a search. Even just walking and talking and handing out flyers, it can work on you. It can work on your legs. It can make you sweat. You need to stay hydrated no matter what work you're doing out there. If you're moving, you're burning energy. And if you're burning energy, you're burning water. And if you're burning water, you need to replenish. That's it. And backup chargers. Thank you, Pickle Bear, or Pickle Bar. Pickle Bar reminds us we need our backup chargers if you're going to be recording, if you're going to be taking some photos and videos. Remember, don't touch anything that you perceive as evidence. Me personally, I like a stick. I like to have a long stick with me. That means if something's covered up, you kind of just flip it a little off. You're not touching it. You are still contaminating it with some biological materials, bark, but at least it's not body oils, and it's still staying preserved, and you can lift stuff up and put it right back down in the exact location with a stick. So that's kind of what I do when I'm out there. I like the large sticks. They help you. You always run it through the grass in front of you just to make sure there's no snakes or other little things that are out there. Don't be freaking out because you're in the nature, okay? Yeah, nature calls, okay? We were born in the wild. Trust me, we all got it in us. I believe you've got it too. Have a life water bottle. Expensive, but great to use in the wild. There you go. Yeah. So, no, we don't need toilet paper. I'm pretty sure there's bathrooms. You're going to have to exit stage right. Nobody wants to see all that, okay? That's only special whenever you're on the side of a mountain and you want to piss on, somebody. I need to stop. This is about Sebastian. This is not about pissing on the side of a mountain. It was in the same kind of area. It was in Tennessee. It was for the Summer Wells case, Kind of wish I was pissing on somebody besides the side of the mountain, but, side of the mountain will have to do. Side of the mountain will have to do. Easier just to buy a box of 1 gallon. Oh, good Lord. Okay, I'm going to stop. You know what? I got to tell you, The other night in the mod chat, I walked in there. I'm not even going to tell you what we're going to, because all my girls in here would be blushing like, what? But I got to tell you, we had some pretty blushful conversations, to say the least. I almost cracked my shorts. All right, guys, that's it. Okay, guys, I'm done. I'm not gonna go there. I mean, I gotta tell you, the conversations. I'm a woman, and I gotta tell you, by the time I was done with that, I looked at the chat. I was like this. Is it safe to come out now? Is it safe? I can't see. I'm too scared to look. I'm too scared to look. What was the ending result of that conversation, ladies? No, I'm just joking. I do not want to get it started again. I am just joking. I swear to God, I'm just joking, ladies. If that mod chat is filled up. All right, guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. Go make it a great Friday. I'm glad you guys got a little bit of a laugh. We're just going to be rooting for Sebastian. Sebastian. We want to find Sebastian. We just want to help. We just want to help. We want to do our part. We want to give back. We want to help. And I hope everybody else does too. All right, guys. I love you. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.